Hello, kids! A happy and healthy day to our beloved learners. We are here again to discuss a lesson in our subject English 6. Are you ready, children? Yes? Wow! Let us now start. Look at this image. What is that all about? Yes! Two girls who are telling their preferred activity during their leisure time. One enjoys watching movies, while the other one loves reading books. And based on that, our lesson for today is distinguishing printed materials from viewing materials. And we are going to compare and contrast printed materials and viewing materials. Now kids, listen to this. Mrs. Rivera conducted a quick survey in her English class. She asked her pupils to choose between watching movies and reading books as their preferred activity during their leisure time. The result of her survey is shown in the table. Mrs. Rivera found out that 15 out of 20 or 75% of the boys love watching movies, while 5 out of 20 or 25% love reading books. On the other hand, she found out that 8 out of 20 or 40% of the girls love watching movies, while 12 out of 20 or 60% love reading books. With these results, Mrs. Rivera concluded that most of her pupils who are boys are into watching movies, while most girls among her pupils are into reading books during their leisure time. If you were Mrs. Rivera's pupil, what activity would you prefer to do for your leisure time? Would it be watching movies or reading books? Watching movies and reading books are activities that make use of our sense of sight. Books are classified as printed materials. Movies are classified as viewing materials. Printed materials consist of all written materials which convey planned course information. Many prints have digital versions that can be accessed online. Examples of printed resources include, but are not limited to, textbooks, workbooks, reference books, magazines, newspapers, and journals. Let's have some of the examples. Number 1. A book is a set of written, printed, illustrated, or blank sheets made of ink, paper, parchment, or other materials fastened together to hinge at one side. Books contain information, stories, or poetry. Number 2 example is magazine, also called periodical, a printed or digitally published collection of texts, essays, articles, stories, poems, photographs, and advertisements, often illustrated, that is produced at regular intervals, excluding newspapers. Number 3 example. A newspaper is a paper that is printed and distributed usually daily or weekly and contains news, articles of opinion, features, and advertisements. It is usually printed on relatively inexpensive, low-grade paper such as newsprint. Now let's move on to viewing materials. Viewing materials are visual in nature. Visual materials encompass various forms, including photographs, video films, videotapes, paintings, drawings, and cartoons. Let's focus on the following examples. Number 1. A film, also known as a movie or a motion picture, is a series of moving images shown on a screen, usually with sound that make up a story. It is a form of entertainment that enacts a story by sound and a sequence of images giving the illusion of continuous movement. Films are similar to novels or short stories since they also tell a story or show real situations. They are recorded so they can be shown at the cinema or on television.
Gloria, Melvin, Marty Gelman, Gloria, Marty Melvin, Marty Gelman, Regis, Kelly, Matt, Katie, Al.
Hey, help! Whoa, whoa! Get me out of this thing, somebody!
Away in a manger, no crib for a bed, the little Lord Jesus laid down his sweet.
Next example. A television program, also called a television show, is a segment of content intended for broadcast on television. It may be a one-time production or part of a periodically recurring series.
Ramdam na ang malakas na hangin at alon sa bayan ng Katiil sa Davao Oriental. Ikinwento ng residenteng si Olan Emboscado na umaabot sa resort ang tubig sa dagat. Nararanasan din nila ang panakanakang pag-ulan simula pa kahapon.
No, that's Katiil Bay facing the Pacific Ocean. Sobrang dilim. Ang kinakatakot namin ngayon dito,
Thank you for sharing. Maraming salamat.
Thank you po.
Yes. At kayo, Alora and Riva, imbitahan nyo na ang ating mga manonood. Saan pwedeng mapanood ang The House Arrest of Us?
And syempre, mapapanood pa rin po siya sa I1 TFC and Netflix na po ngayon. And of course, sa KTX.
Ang galing.
Congratulations. Syempre, yes, day one and
3 example. A video is a program, movie, or other visual media product featuring moving images with or without audio that is recorded, reproduced, broadcasted, and saved digitally in a flash drive, external drive, CD, or in the computer.
Ama! Ang aking kapatid!
Anak! Bakit na nangyari sa'yo? Nabusog pa ako. Lahat ng nang-aapi sa lahat ng mga Pilipino na nakatira dito. Nababalik sa normal ng ating bansa.
Pag naparito sa kapakanan nyo. Pero kawawa ka naman, Dr. Rizal. Sana, umalis na kayo. Aking kapatid, tawagin mo ang ating mga kapatid. Sige. Tinatawag tayo ng Supremo. O sige, kung ano mo kasama na. Tinatawag tayo ng Supremo. Ayun.
Now to sum up what we have tackled, let us read this table. Viewing materials, examples, films or movies, television shows, videos. We use viewing and listening skills to understand their message. They use moving pictures or images. They are accompanied by sound effects. They have opening billboard, closing billboard, and credits, etc. They have a time duration. Characters have dialogues and scripts. Now let's move on to printed materials. Examples are books, newsletter, magazines, journals, etc. We use reading skills to understand their message. They use still pictures or images to support the text. They have no sound effects. They have cover, title page, body, end page, etc. They have no time restriction. Readers may read them back and forth for as long as they want. They use printed text to deliver their message to the readers. Are there also common between the two? Yes, of course. They give bits of information, they both give entertainment, and they both require the use of sense of sight. Are there things a reader or a viewer must consider in order to get right information or right entertainment? Yes. Some sources are deceptive and contain wrong information. Some entertainments also do not suit the ages of the readers or the viewers and need a parental guidance. That is why it is important to see to it that we have the right sources in getting information. Alright, this time let's have an activity. And this is the direction. Have you read a fairy tale with a movie adaptation? Compare and contrast the written story with its movie adaptation by putting a check mark in the column that corresponds to its characteristics. I will give you 20 seconds to answer. "20 seconds is over. Let's check your answers now. For number 1, it uses moving pictures to aid understanding. And that is movie. Let's move on to number 2. It is told with audio narration and accompanied by sound effects. The answer? Movie. Let's move on to number 3. It has an opening billboard, closing billboard, and credits, etc. The answer is movie. Let's move on. Number 4. Its story is understood through reading. That is storybook. Number 5. It gives lessons. Storybook and movie. Let's move on to number 6. It has songs or soundtracks. The answer is movie. Let's move on to number 7. It can be repeatedly read in pages. The answer is storybook. Number 8. It tells a story. Storybook and movie. Let's move on to number 9. It is written and published. That is storybook. And number 10, it is handy. That is storybook and movie. Did you get them all? Oh wow, that's great. And this is where our lesson ends. I hope you have learned a lot. Again, I am Teacher Libby. Goodbye, have a good day, and God bless you.